What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel here, and welcome back to another video. So I'm starting off the video right now in my car because it is hotter than hell outside. Anybody that's watching this is in Texas knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's about 100 degrees out. Heat index is going to put us about 110, 112 with the humidity. Even hotter tomorrow. So I was putting together a video. I've had my GT now for my 2022 Mustang GT for a little over 4 months. And I wanted to give my thoughts and perspective of the car and what I like about it and what I don't like about it, what I've done to it if you haven't seen my channel or any of the videos I've done, plans going forward with the car, but just mainly what I've learned to like about it, not like about it, what I wish the car came with, so on and so forth. And then we're going to go on a little bit of a drive to a spot that I can hopefully find some kind of like shade to do something outside, because it's just too hot to even be sitting outside. So on that note, let's go for a drive. My last car I had a GT 500. I had the Recaro seats in that thing. The Recaro seats, they didn't have heated or cooled seats or anything like that. Just the nice Recaro seats. I have just the standard premium seats, but what I like about those most, you got the cooled seats. You can definitely feel it. It is a lifesaver, I'm telling you, with how hot it is. And the humidity makes it feel even hotter, like I said. So that's why I got the windows up. Usually I like to drive with the windows down. I might drive them down here in a minute, but you can't do that for long with how hot it is. It's not supposed to be this hot this early, but yeah, what are you gonna do? So one thing right off the bat, and there's no particular order on this isn't necessarily like the things I like, things I hate about it type of like a video. It's just I want to just point out what I do like and what I don't like. It's not like a top 5 hate, top 5 like type of a thing. It's just the first thing that got me is the drivability of the S550, because I went from a S197 GT 500. Obviously, those only come in a manual, and that wasn't a daily driver. For anybody that's been following my channel for a while, they've seen that car and they know all about it and everything I've done to that car. So going from that, which was not a daily driver, it was like a weekend type of a driver. I didn't take that on any long road trips. I only took that on one major road trip before we moved here to Texas, and we even had that thing trailered in an enclosed trailer across the country when we moved from Washington to down here in Texas. But I wouldn't trust driving that vehicle on a daily basis, on long, well, not necessarily a daily basis, in regards to doing road trips, because we are driving the GT to Mustang Week. If you guys haven't watched that video, I'll put a card to that right up here. We decided we are going to Mustang Week. We're taking the GT, and I'm super excited about that, because if I still had the GT 500, I don't know if I would go. I don't know if I would go, just because I don't know if I would trust the drivability, because everything I've done to that car, it's supercharged, it's gonna get hot and heat soak, and who knows what'll happen. But with the 10-speed automatic, the drivability of this thing, it's super smooth, it's reliable. The 10 speeds in these things are awesome. So that's one reason why, that is the main reason why we decided to go to Mustang Week, because as awesome as the GT 500 is, and still is, I don't know if I would be able to go, just the fact of the reliability of that car for a long distance style of drive. I don't know if you can read the screen there, but 100 degrees, and it's about 2 o'clock. Fucking pinned between 2 semis. There we go. Now for a stock naturally aspirated V8, these things do got quite a bit of power, substantially more obviously than the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Coyotes, but they did decreased the horsepower in these from 460 to 450 because of the good old EPA. I ended up fixing that. I put a Corsa colder intake in this thing. I did a video on that also as well. I will put a card to that one as well. The intake, it restricts a lot of the airflow, which reduced it from 460 to 450. But still not bad for naturally aspirated. So like I said, my GT500, I had a VMP Gen 2R blower on that thing, put down 700 on 93. I was on the verge of taking that thing from 93 to E85, have two separate tunes for both 93 and E85. But then life happens. We had to sell the car, and then I traded in my other car for this car. But the horsepower difference between the two is about 300 horsepower. So going from that to this, I mean, talk about a world changer. They're just not even on the same spectrum. But the overall power potential, what these Gen 3s offer, is more than what my GT500 could offer. I will spend less or probably equal to what I did on the GT500 to put down more power, and I would feel better about it because it can handle, it's just a better built motor. The Gen 3 Coyotes compared to the GT500 in 2012, it was the 5.4 versus the 5.8. The overall power potential for either of those two is about the same, but it's older technology compared to the Gen 3 Coyotes, and I would just feel better. 800 wheel horsepower on E85, no, sorry, on pump 93, between 700 to 800, and then 800 plus on E85. It's just, there's just so much more you could do with these cars and the overall ceiling to what they can handle. So right off the bat, the one thing that drew me to this car versus others that they had on the lot at the time, obviously, as you could tell, is the grabber blue. And it's not just the grabber blue, it's like a metallic now, so there's like a flake in it, like a pearl. I don't know what they did, but it definitely stands out and pops more than the previous grabber blues that they've had. So the grabber blue, along with the black accent package on the roof, spoiler's not factory, I'll get to that in a second, but then the blackout badging on the back and the front. It's got the black wheels and the blacked out pony also as well. So this was the last new 2022 that was grabber blue that they had at the time in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That was a GT, and they had other grabber blues. I had to drive a little bit for them, but they didn't have the black accent package. The black accent package on these, combining the black wheels, badging, the roof, kind of just, it's the perfect amount to like break up and kind of break up the blue and the black and everything like that. It just goes hand in hand, in my opinion. Now, I might be the minority in this, but at first I didn't like the wheels that came on this car, because another option is you got the PP1. Those are nice. These are growing on me. I actually like these quite a bit. Now, they're not as wide as the PP1s, but you can put a wider tire on these. These are the factory tires. They're 255s. But the wheels, for a number of reasons, I like them. Number one, I don't mind how they look. Two, I can clean these in about 4.5 seconds compared to the wheels that come on the PP1s. You got all the different grooves and those are a lot more tedious and they take a lot more time to clean. These, you can clean them super quick, super easy, and they don't produce a ton of brake dust compared to the Brembos I had on my GT500. I drive that thing across the parking lot and I have to clean them again. These don't produce a ton of brake dust, but when they do, super easy. Now, in regard to the wheel and tire setup, since I'm already down here, the brakes on these things. Now, these aren't Brembos, but these brakes are, they're so much more improved than the Brembos I had on my GT500. Those were, I want to say they're 4-piston Brembos I had on that thing. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. they did a good job. These are much more improved. They bite a lot harder, and these aren't even the Brembos. The Performance Pack have the Brembos in the fronts, and I'm sure those break even better, but these are so much more improved than what came on the previous year GT500s. Okay, so in regards to the things that I wish were a little bit different from the factory, now this isn't the factory spoiler. I swapped out the factory spoiler for this GT500 style spoiler. I don't even want to call what came on this thing a spoiler. It was more of like an accent piece. It was just this tiny, like a lip, like a sliver that went along here. Now it was black. It flowed with the black roof, the black wheels, and the badging and all that kind of stuff. But it was a sorry excuse for a spoiler. It didn't really make anything look aggressive or anything like that, so that had to go. That was one of the first things I did actually. I swapped out the spoiler for this one here, and this actually just reused the factory holes. I reused the factory holes, and I also put a ton of adhesive tape on it also as well, so that makes a substantial difference just by adding that spoiler. Another thing that I wish they improved on the premiums, not talking about the performance packs or anything like that, with the premiums, the tires that come on these, I feel like they kind of went on the cheaper end of things. Just they're the Pirelli P0s. Now these aren't a bad tire, okay, now, but if you put down anything more than factory horsepower, your grip on these are going to be not fantastic compared to the PS4s that they offer on the PP1s and the Mach 1s and stuff like that. I just wish they put those also on these as well, because if you've seen any of the videos I've done in the past, my 0 to 60 pulls and stuff like that, my main issue was the traction, and that was due mainly to the tires. Now, hot day like today, I would grip a lot better, but it's hot, so it would draw power because of the heat. But in regards to traction, hot day, not too bad. But I just wish they did I don't see why you couldn't spend maybe up the price another $1,500 or so to put the PP1s on the premiums. I just wish they had those on these. Another thing that I just found out yesterday, so the older model Gen 3 premiums, I don't know if this is on all of them or just mine got singled out. So I got the premium, okay? Now some premiums obviously don't have a digital dash. You got the option for either or, and then that's fine. That doesn't bother me that much. But they had memory seats. You could do 1, 2, or 3, and it was right next to the door locks here. They don't have those. Is there anyone else that has a 2022 premium, same trim as mine? Is there? I haven't figured out a way to do the memory selection on my seats, but I do know that they did have the buttons here on the 2020s, I believe, 2018 to 2020, unless I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. They did have those there. Now they don't. What, I mean, are they trying to just save costs by taking that out? Doesn't make sense why they would take something like that out. So if anyone has any insight on that, let me know, because where'd they go? Okay, and then like I said, the gauge cluster. Now this isn't the, God, get the AC going, holy crap. The analog here, it doesn't bother me that much. Now I know the digital cluster, it kind of helps improve with your whole driving experience, I guess, but I could swap that out and upgrade it. But I think those are like $1,800 to $2,000 just to swap that out, your cluster. So I wish these more of these came with that cluster. But if I had to choose between a premium GT that had a digital cluster but it was in a color that I didn't like, I would still go with the Grabber Blue. I would still choose the Grabber Blue over the small things like the cluster, because it's a lot easier and cheaper to swap out a cluster if you decide to swap your analog out for a digital cluster than the color of the car. The number one thing for me with this car was the Grabber Blue. as I probably made obvious multiple times. I just love the color of the car, because that's the first thing that gets your attention, is the color of the car. So if this car was white and it had a digital cluster, I would probably still go with the Grabber Blue. But hey, you know what? That's just me. Another thing for me is these steering wheels are smaller than what they had on the S197, so it's an improvement on that. I just wish these had a flat bottom steering wheel. I know a lot of people have been complaining about that. I know they upgraded that here coming for the S650, the 2024 model years. Those have the flat bottom, especially the Mach 1 and the GT500s. I don't see why, especially those cars and the GT350s, why they decided not to put a flat bottom on those things. I just feel like Ford, with small details like that, make a big difference in the sex appeal of the car. But it's not that big of a deal, but small things like that can definitely make a difference. Another thing in regards to the interior, so I got the 400A package. Unless you go the 401A, I believe it is, you get the digital cluster, as I said. Also, with the screen here, you get navigation. I didn't find out till after I got the car that it doesn't have built-in maps and navigation. I didn't know that until after I got the car. Now, it's not, again, that big of a deal, but like I said, it's the small things that I didn't know it didn't have built-in navigation until after I got the car. It's a 2022. In regards to the Roush X-Pipe, if anyone is interested, I'm going to be putting that up for sale here pretty soon, because I'm going to be throwing exhaust on the car, looking at options on that, and if I do that, I'm going with a different X-Pipe. So if anyone wants a Roush X-Pipe, let me know. It'll probably be for sale here pretty soon. So coming here next on the car, like I said, talking about exhaust, I'm looking at doing Corsa Extreme with the double X-Pipe. That is why my Roush X-Pipe will be up for sale here pretty soon. Coming shortly after that will be a tune, along with the E85 tune also as well. Better tires. I might do the Euro taillights in the rear, but I think the red kind of breaks up the black combination, so I might keep those. I don't know, we'll see. Haven't quite made up my mind in regards to that. So the tune, the better tires, the exhaust, and then by next year we're going twin turbo. About 90 to 95% certain twin turbo is my option, or nitrous. I like nitrous. I don't know, we'll see, but more than likely twin turbo is the route I'm going to go on this car, because I've had superchargers on the GT500. So I kind of want to go a different route, so it's not the same type of a blower or just boost in general that I had on the GT500. I want to try something else, a platform that I haven't tried yet. All right, well, that's going to conclude this one and wrap it up. I got to get moving, because it is getting hotter by the minute. It's scorching out. So let me know what you guys think, what kind of platform you guys have, what you guys like and what you guys hate about it. And the things I hate about it aren't really things that I hate. There are things that I think maybe Ford could have possibly improved on. But on that note, I'm going to close this out. You guys are watching and you're not subscribed, please do me a favor. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a like, and please drop a comment. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.